So we have concluded on the control charts in the control phase. So I will go ahead with the remaining part. So once the control chart shows me a good interpretation that the process is within control or outside control, and I'm able to fix that, then there is a process control which we need to look at, wherein since we are transitioning from project to process, we also need to ensure that whatever changes have been made during the project, there has to be a detailed SOPs, which is a standard operating procedures. So it's a responsibility of a project leader to ensure that all these things are in place, all these things are documented, so that tomorrow if anybody wants to know that what is that cost to or what are the changes that has happened, he or she should be able to. So it is a prerequisite and a mandate activity to prepare a process flow as well on the new work type or on the new improved state, to ensure that everybody is updated on the same. If there was a training being provided, there has to be updated training manual, which should have the version control. These are just the ISO kind of compliance things, but these are part of black belt or green belt projects as well. There has to be a periodic audit, which you would not do, because this is a responsibility of a process, but you will put place a governance framework wherein you would ensure that there should be a periodic audit happens on the new process, and you would come up with some of the solutions wherein there should be an error proofing, wherein if there is any error occurred, you will be able to rectify it. So these are the 4 basic process control things which we've been always doing in our processes also, but these are mandatory activities when you are closing the project also. So documentation has to be there. There has to be a training manual which is being prepared. If there is any training which was being conducted to train the people, you need to prepare a framework on the periodic audits, and there should be an error proofing as well, so that these errors are not happened again. Apart from that, a very important tool, which is called a control plan. So in the improve phase, we prepared an improve plan. Do we remember that? 4W1H. This is a improve plan. Yeah, very simple. I've got this solution and I want to implement it. But now there is a difference between improve plan and control plan that needs to be prepared in the control phase of the Six Sigma. The difference between improve plan and control plan is that in the control plan, I will mention that how this process is being measured over a period of time, how many times it is going to happen, who all will be doing these checks. Okay. So for example, I have implemented a solution wherein I have changed the functionality of a particular tool. And now I am preparing a control plan to ensure that there is a periodic audit which is happened in terms of the tool functionality, whether the tool is working fine or not, whether are there any glitches or not, whom needs to be reported if there is any sort of an issue. So all these things are part of the control plan to ensure that my process is within control. So the difference between improve plan and control plan is improve plan is to be prepared when to improve the current state. Control plan is to be prepared to ensure that the things that we put in place to resolve the problem are being periodically happening at a regular period of time. Therefore, you would see the frequency here. Okay. It has to be done at a regular point in time. There is a control plan and there is a responsibility which needs to be assigned to a particular individual or a group members to ensure that these things are happening on a daily basis. So there has to be a person who needs to continuously watch whether the solutions which were implemented, whether these are being adhered or not. So for example, let's say there was a system ABC on which the people were used to process transactions. So there was a new system which was being developed apart from the previous one, because the new one has more functionality, enhancements, more features, more workflows, more reports. Now a control mechanism is to ensure that the people are able to use a new tool. They are not using a manual way. So you will be able to fetch out reports. You will be able to do some dip checks. You will be able to do some checks to ensure that these people are adhering to the new tools. Okay. So this is what is the difference between control plan and the improve plan, wherein you are monitoring it on a regular basis, whether the new functionality is being adhered, is being implemented or not. So that is also needs to be done at a regular period of time. So for example, if your control phase is for 3 months, you have to do this activity for the entire 3 months to ensure that, to state that yes, this project is being controlled as well. Any question anybody has on the control plan? So people who are in audit, people who are in compliance, that's their day in, day out activity, which they've been doing. However, when we are doing a Six Sigma project, this becomes mandatory to do it towards the end, to ensure that everything which has put in place is being adhered, is being monitored on a regular basis.
One question here. So technically in the problem cause, that column, when we were doing all those different charts, the extreme, the special causes or the values that we need to look into, those will come into this kind of a report, and then we see how we are controlling it, and finally what is the status after we have controlled it or we have adhered to that. Is it so?
So what she's asking is that, is control plan to be prepared after preparing the control charts, or should we start it as soon as we enter the control phase? Is that your question?
No, I mean to say that it can happen altogether, like parallelly or afterwards. What I'm asking is that when we are doing the control charts, we saw the extreme, the special cases, the values, right? So we have to now go and look into it to investigate why that value has happened. So I'm asking, in the problem and cause, is that what we need to capture and then see what we need to do on that?
Okay. So I got a question now. Yeah. So what is that when we do the control chart, and if I identify any special cause variation and I am trying to fix that, so is that the problem mentioned to be mentioned here? No. Here I'm mentioning the cause which has been identified during the analyze phase. So I'm mapping my control plan with the cause that I've identified. So likewise for productivity, if one of my cause was the shift timing, okay, and I have implemented a solution on the shift timing wherein I have consolidated 3 different shifts, or maybe I have come up with a solution wherein I'm doing a rotation. So I have to mention the same problem or a same cause that was identified. So this is a cause, this is an X. So I should mention it here.
Okay. Got it. And the status will be like what exactly is happening now that when we are doing in the control phase, whether it is within our limits, whether we are seeing any variation, and if yes, what we are doing about it. All these things will come basis on that analysis cause that we have earlier looked into.
So these special causes that we have identified, that would not come here. That is a separate activity. Okay. This plan is basis the solutions that I've implemented in my project, which is results. And I need to ensure whatever the solutions which are being implemented or which are currently being deployed has to be adhered on a regular basis to ensure that my problem, that the project that I have doing should be sustained. So there are 2 ways how I'm controlling the situation. One is using the control plan, and second is using the control chart. Whatever errors or problems that I would find in the while doing the control chart or any special causes, that would not be mentioned here. That has to be done separately. Those are special causes. This control plan is for the ones for which I have implemented the solutions for.
Okay. Right. Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. All those things are happening at a regular period of time. So this is what control chart is, and with the help of that we have completed all the topics which are part of control phase, and therefore we have completed till control, from define till control.